When Bring Me the Horizon released their album Count Your Blessings, they made deathcore 1,000 times more popular. It was very impressive, but when they released Suicide Season a couple of years later, the whole world knew what they were about. The album wasn't only a success musically, but a statement of how unafraid they were to innovate and reinvent themselves as a band. Now, whether or not you're a fan of Bring Me the Horizon, or maybe just curious to know how they managed to do all of that, trust me, this video's for you. So my friend, take a cup of coffee, sit back and relax, because we're going back in time. You could easily say that Count Your Blessings was a success over time with some distance and a different perspective, but for the members of the band themselves back then, it didn't really feel that way. Sure, they had gained a lot in popularity and they knew something special was happening at their shows, but like most things in life, it came at a price. The thing is, as much as you can get love and support from all over the world, hatred can easily create a shadow and bring you into the darkness without you even realizing it. Rejection comes in many forms, and in this case, hateful speech, physical violence, bad reviews, and humiliation were all on the menu. In a world where horror and violence were the main themes and aesthetic, there was no space for a couple of emo kids with a dream. Or so they thought. Suicide Season wasn't only an album, it was a message, a statement telling the whole world that they weren't just another metal band. They were here to innovate and change the game with every single release. By switching from deathcore to metalcore, they heavily contributed to the fusion of both scenes, making their music much more accessible. Whether or not it was a conscious decision on their part, it was the absolute best move for them to make at the time. You see, with the Vans Warped Tour slowly becoming one of the most important festivals in the world and MySpace being in the forefront of the alternative scene, Bring Me the Horizon managed to position themselves at the very top of it. Ollie Sykes became an icon, he was everything a scene kid could ever hope to be, not to mention the fact that every scene queen wanted to be with him. On top of that, he created Drop Dead, the sickest clothing line in the scene by far, but it was actually way more than that. Suicide Season and Chelsea Smile represented the party, the lifestyle, the tattoos, and pretty much every single thing we were into at the time. They marketed their shows as a party, which was a perfect way to connect with their target audience while making it seem way more fun at the same time. It was all about the experience, and they understood that very early on. It was a perfect representation of the scene itself, and as I've mentioned earlier, Bring Me the Horizon had created a bridge between metalcore and deathcore by then, making it bigger than it ever was. The band was officially on the rise, bringing the entire scene along with them. Mitch Lucker and Suicide Silence, Danny Worsnop and Asking Alexandria, Austin Carlisle and Of Mice and Men, Mike Ranica and The Divorced Brother, and the list goes on, but the important part was, the alternative scene was on top of the world. Musically, Suicide Season was a clear departure from the original sound, and the reason was simple. They hated the original sound.
Why did you change your music so much?
Because our last CD was shit.
It was kind of unfortunate to hear, but as much as I love Count Your Blessings, to be honest, I think Suicide Season was superior in a lot of ways. I mean, opinions aside, the new vocal style made the lyrical content a lot clearer, allowing their audience to properly understand the lyrics and sing along, which obviously created a much stronger connection with them. The songwriting itself was such a big improvement, going from a chaotic mixture of riff salad and hysterical screaming all over the place to a very well structured composition with a lot of momentum, repeating parts, and an overall feeling that a story was being told gave them the credibility required to get to the next step. As much as I keep saying that they fully went metalcore on this album, let's be honest here, it was a very logical transition for them. Count Your Blessings was one of those albums that was kind of considered in between metalcore and deathcore in the first place, very similar to Allegiance by As Blood Runs Black. I mean, for instance, if Suicide Silence went fully metalcore, it would have been a different story, but I think it's fair to say the transition made a lot of sense for Bring Me the Horizon at the time. Obviously, tons of people were still very upset by the new sound, but they were clearly outnumbered, and at this point, it was undeniable. Suicide Season was a massive success. There was, however, a big consequence in the process. They lost Curtis, a very important member of the band, which was the first departure since the formation of Bring Me the Horizon. But for most of us, it was actually way more than that. It was a definitive statement that deathcore was officially a thing from the past. Because you see, apparently, Curtis had lost interest at this point, he wasn't really into the new direction the band was heading in, making it very clear that they had moved on completely from the original sound. On the bright side, they also had gained Jonah from I Killed the Prom Queen, an amazing artist, and for what it's worth, I think he completed the lineup perfectly. The energy it was bringing on stage was exactly what the band needed at the time, and as far as I'm concerned, it might have been their best lineup ever. The cut-up version was yet another way for them to take a risk and push the innovation a step further by remixing every single song on the album electronically, featuring some amazing artists including Skrillex, if you can believe it. Just to put things in perspective, it was years before he became famous. In fact, his featuring on the album is still considered his breakthrough as an artist. And I know having an artist like Skrillex feature on an album might not seem like a big deal nowadays, but trust me, a metalcore band with a deathcore background doing something like that in 2009 was just wild. Innovation and Bring Me the Horizon were often used in the same sentence, and for good reason. Because as much as people didn't want to admit it back then, they were doing everything right. They had done the impossible and completely reinvented themselves without skipping a beat, and the hate only contributed to their success. The band's trajectory was completely unpredictable and still is to this day because they showed everyone that they would never limit themselves, both musically and artistically. Say whatever you want about them, the truth is, only a handful of bands were ever able to achieve something like that. Bring Me the Horizon simply became an unstoppable machine, crushing any obstacle in its way, relentlessly touring and conquering the world, one show at a time. But at this point, the question had to be asked, what are they gonna do next? That's gonna be for another video. So now that you've heard my perspective, it's your turn. Let me know in the comments what you think about the album, if you liked it or not, maybe you have stories about it. I always enjoy reading all your comments. Of course, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. If you want to support me even more, the Patreon is the best way to do it. Speaking of which, thanks to all of you guys, your support means the world. Feel free to join our Discord server if you didn't already, and don't forget about our live deathcore podcast on Twitch every single week. With all that being said, I'm finally gonna stop talking. I'll see you in the next one.